I have never believed in dramatic instincts. I built a manufacturing company from a rented warehouse and 3 unreliable machines. Every decision I made was slow, documented, reviewed twice. Even my retirement had a spreadsheet. The contracts were clean. My son would take over as CEO. Shares would transfer gradually over 12 months. Control, however, would shift immediately. That was the part that mattered. It was supposed to feel like relief. Instead, it felt like something being sealed. My daughter-in-law placed the coffee beside my elbow. "You've barely slept," she said gently. She has a voice that carries warmth without depth. I used to admire that about her. Efficiency dressed as kindness. She had become increasingly present over the last year. Not intrusive, just positioned, sitting in on strategic calls, offering restructuring ideas, encouraging modern governance. My son deferred to her more often than he realized. I told myself this was evolution. The maid bumped into me just as I reached for the cup. A soft collision, a murmur of apology. Her hand steadied the saucer. Then, barely audible, "Don't drink. Just trust me." She did not look at me. She moved away like nothing had happened. For a moment, I questioned my hearing. Age plays tricks. Pride plays worse ones. I looked at the coffee. Steam curling upward. Perfectly ordinary. Across the table, my daughter-in-law was discussing liquidity projections with calm confidence. My son was nodding along, eager, unaware of anything beyond the documents. Paranoia is an ugly companion. But so is dismissal. I let my phone vibrate. I stood excusing myself to take a call that did not exist. When I returned, I picked up the wrong cup. Hers, with mild absent-mindedness. I placed my mirror to her hand. No one noticed. 5 minutes later she did. Not dramatically. No collapse. Just a pause mid-sentence. Her fingers trembled against the porcelain. She blinked too slowly. "I think I need a moment," she said. My son rose instantly, concerned, protective. I watched. She stood, but her balance shifted slightly, not enough to alarm, just enough to confirm something was wrong. She excused herself to the restroom. Silence settled in the room. I did not speak. When she did not return for 10 minutes, my son went to check on her. I heard low, urgent whispers in the hallway. I picked up the coffee cup she had been drinking from and smelled it. Nothing obvious. But bitterness hides well. I called my legal advisor, not in panic, not in accusation. I said, "I'd like you to come by, immediately, and bring someone from compliance." He did not ask questions. That is why I have kept him for 22 years. When they arrived, my daughter-in-law had regained composure, though her face had lost its polish. She blamed dehydration, a migraine, stress. Perhaps it was, but I asked for a routine toxicology test on both cups, mine and hers. "Is this necessary?" my son asked, confusion overtaking patience. "Yes," I replied, calmly. Authority changes the temperature of a room. When the compliance officer sealed the cups and evidence bags, the atmosphere shifted from family to institution, from inheritance to investigation. No one shouted. We simply waited. The preliminary results came faster than expected, a mild sedative, not dangerous in isolation, enough to impair clarity, enough to blur consent. The officer did not use dramatic language. He used terms like contamination and unauthorized substance. He mentioned legal implications. My son looked at me as if the ground beneath him had tilted. My daughter-in-law said nothing. Not denial, not explanation. Silence can confess more than outrage. The signing was suspended immediately, officially due to procedural irregularities. The board was notified. The transfer restructured into a trust-managed transition, with oversight conditions neither of them had anticipated. Control did not explode back into my hands. It returned methodically. My son asked me later, privately, "Do you think she would actually?" He could not finish. I did not answer directly. "I think," I said, "that ambition can convince people they're accelerating something inevitable." He wanted me to rage, to declare betrayal, to give him something simple to fight. Instead, I told him the company would transfer in time, but governance would now include independent oversight, voting rights staggered. Personal and corporate boundaries reinforced. He did not argue. The maid gave a statement quietly. She said she saw something poured. She said she hesitated for days before deciding to speak. She was afraid of losing her job. I ensured she did not. I did not confront my daughter-in-law in private. I did not need to. The structure had shifted, access reduced, influence diluted. Power, when documented, does not need to shout. Weeks later, the house felt different. My son visited alone. She attended fewer meetings. No apology was offered. None requested. Sometimes I wonder if I misread everything, if stress and suspicion stitched together a narrative too clean. The sedative could have been miscalculated medication, a reckless attempt at calming my nerves before a major decision. Possibilities linger. But so does the fact that someone believed my clarity required interference. That is enough. I still intend to retire. But succession now moves through policy, not assumption. Trust, I have learned, should be gradual, not gifted whole. I did not win anything that day. I simply did not sign. And that, in the end, was the only control that mattered.